The bass vibrated through my ribs as I pressed against the club's back wall, my heart hammering harder than the music. 3 months deep undercover. 3 months of carefully constructed lies, manufactured smiles, and a fake identity that fit like borrowed skin. 3 months, and it was all about to collapse because he was here. Ryan, my ex-boyfriend, the man whose fists had taught me that love could be a weapon. He moved through the VIP section like a predator, his eyes scanning faces with methodical precision, looking for me. He'd somehow tracked me to the Castellano family's flagship nightclub, the exact location where I was supposed to be invisible, unremarkable, just another beautiful face in Marcus Castellano's orbit. If Ryan recognized me, if he said my real name loud enough for anyone to hear, my cover was blown. Agent Riley Morgan would cease to exist, and so would 6 months of FBI groundwork. Through the crowd, I spotted my only option, Agent Dante Cross, my handler, sitting alone in a corner booth conducting surveillance. He was supposed to be invisible too, but right now he was my only lifeline. I didn't think, didn't plan, didn't calculate the consequences. I just moved. I slid onto Dante's lap before he could react, my arms wrapping around his neck as my dress rode up against expensive suit fabric. His entire body went rigid beneath me, every muscle locked in professional shock. "Play along," I breathed against his ear, my voice barely audible over the pounding music. "Ryan, 3 o'clock. If he makes me, we're both burned." For one terrible second, Dante didn't move. Then his training kicked in. His arm curved around my waist, not restraining, but claiming. His other hand came up to cradle the back of my head, tilting my face into the crook of his neck where Ryan couldn't see my profile. "I've got you," Dante murmured, his lips brushing my temple in a gesture that looked intimate, but felt like protocol. "I won't let him hurt you." The words were meant to be reassuring, professional, but something in his voice made my breath catch, a roughness that hadn't been there in any of our official briefings. I felt Ryan's presence before I saw him, that familiar, predatory energy that used to make me flinch. Through my hair, I watched him approach our booth, his expression shifting from determination to confusion, to barely controlled rage. "Excuse me." Ryan's voice cut through the music, that false politeness I knew too well. "I'm looking for someone, a woman, about this tall brown hair." "Not interested." Dante's voice was pure ice, his hand tightening possessively on my hip. He didn't even look at Ryan, his attention seemingly focused entirely on me. "My companion and I are busy." "I think that's my girlfriend you're holding," Ryan said, his voice dropping to a dangerous register I remembered from our worst nights together. Now Dante did look up, and the expression on his face made even me shiver. Cold, assessing, absolutely lethal beneath a veneer of civility. "I believe the lady chose where she wanted to be," Dante said softly. "And it wasn't with you." The tension stretched taut enough to snap. Ryan's hands clenched into fists at his sides. I could feel my cover disintegrating, could imagine the questions that would follow, the investigation into who I really was, the entire operation collapsing like a house of cards. That's when the energy in the VIP section shifted. The crowd parted like water, and Marcus Castellano himself appeared. 32 years old, heir to the most powerful crime syndicate in the city, and the primary target of my investigation. He moved with the casual confidence of a man who'd never been told no, flanked by 2 men whose bulk suggested they were more than simple security. I'd been watching Marcus for 3 months. I'd learned his patterns, his preferences, his weaknesses. But I'd never been this close enough to see the sharp intelligence in his dark eyes, the faint scar above his left eyebrow, the way his presence seemed to pull all the oxygen from the room. Those eyes locked onto our tableau, me on Dante's lap, Ryan looming aggressively, the visible tension crackling between us. Marcus's expression shifted through several emotions too quickly to read. Then his gaze settled on me with an intensity that made my skin prickle with awareness. He saw something. Vulnerability, maybe, or fear. Something that triggered whatever instinct he had beneath the criminal polish. "Is there a problem here?" Marcus asked, his voice deceptively gentle. He wasn't looking at Ryan anymore. He was looking at me. "No problem," Dante said, his arm tightening almost imperceptibly around me. I felt his fingers press against my ribs. A warning. We were just asking this gentleman to move along. But Marcus had already seen too much, had read the situation with the sharp perception that made him dangerous. He took a step closer, close enough that I could smell expensive cologne and something darker underneath. Gunpowder, maybe, or simple danger. "This man bothering you?" Marcus asked me directly, those intelligent eyes seeing past the makeup, past the fake name, right down to the frightened woman I was pretending to be. I opened my mouth, but no sound came out. 3 months of careful planning, and I was frozen between 3 different kinds of danger. Ryan made the decision for me by reaching out to grab my arm. He never made contact. Marcus caught Ryan's wrist mid-motion, his grip casual but absolutely immovable. "In my club," Marcus said quietly, "we don't touch women without their permission." The 2 security guards materialized closer, their message clear without a word spoken. Ryan's face went white. He finally seemed to realize where he was, who he was challenging. I'm sorry. I was just leaving," Marcus finished for him. "Permanently. My people will make sure you understand the boundaries of my hospitality." And I watched Ryan being escorted toward the exit, his bravado collapsing with each step. The immediate threat was gone, but I'd created a much bigger problem, because now Marcus Castellano was looking at me like I was a puzzle he intended to solve. And his hand was settling on my shoulder, with proprietary gentleness, as he said to Dante, "This woman is under my protection now." Marcus's hand on my shoulder felt like a brand, warm and possessive through the thin fabric of my dress. I was still perched on Dante's lap, caught between my handler and my target, with a dozen witnesses watching this disaster unfold in real time. "I appreciate your concern," Dante said, his voice tight with barely controlled tension. "But as I said, the lady is with me." Marcus's smile didn't reach his eyes. "Is she?" The question hung in the air, dangerous and pointed. I felt Dante's fingers dig into my hip. A warning, a plea, an order all compressed into one urgent pressure. But Marcus was already extending his hand toward me, palm up, an invitation that somehow felt more like a command. "What's your name?" Marcus asked, his attention wholly focused on me now. "Emma," I whispered, using my cover identity automatically. My throat felt tight, my mind racing through contingencies. "Emma Pierce." "Emma." He repeated it like he was memorizing the syllables. "How long has this man been protecting you from your ex-boyfriend?" The question was a trap. I could feel it in the way Marcus's eyes narrowed slightly, the way his security guards had positioned themselves to block any escape route. He was testing me, reading micro-expressions, looking for the truth beneath the lies. "We just met," I admitted, because it was closer to the truth than any lie I could construct under pressure. I was desperate. Something flickered in Marcus's expression. Recognition, maybe, or sympathy. "Desperation makes us do dangerous things," he said quietly, like trusting strangers in nightclubs. I felt Dante tense beneath me. His earpiece would be going insane right now. The tactical team demanding updates, supervisors screaming orders, the entire operation teetering on the edge of catastrophe. "Marcus," one of his guards murmured, leaning in close. "Your father's expecting you." But Marcus waved him off, his focus never leaving my face. "When was the last time you felt safe, Emma?" The question hit me like a physical blow, because he wasn't asking Emma Pierce, the cover identity. He was asking something deeper, something that resonated with Riley Morgan too. The woman who'd spent 3 months living a lie, who jumped at shadows, who couldn't remember the last time she'd slept without dreaming of blown covers and bullets. My voice broke. It wasn't entirely an act. "Let me help you," Marcus said, and there was something almost gentle in his tone. "I have resources. Security. Properties where men like your ex can never touch you." His eyes flicked to Dante, dismissive. "Better resources than whatever this stranger can offer in a nightclub booth." "She doesn't need your help," Dante said coldly. "She's fine. She's trembling." Marcus's observation was clinical, accurate. I was shaking. Adrenaline, fear, and the horrible realization that my target was offering me exactly what my mission required: access. If I went with Marcus Castellano, if I accepted his protection, I'd be inside his inner circle within hours instead of months. I'd have access to his home, his business, his secrets. It was the opportunity every undercover agent dreamed of, the kind of break that made careers. It was also insane. "I have a guest suite," Marcus continued, his voice lowering to something almost intimate. "Private, secure. My family owns half this city, Emma. Your ex-boyfriend will never find you there. You'll be safe while you figure out your next move." He paused. No strings, no expectations, just sanctuary. My earpiece crackled, so faint only I could hear it. Dante's voice transmitted from the wire he was wearing. "Say no, Riley, say no. This is not the plan." But Marcus was already standing, already offering his hand with that patient confidence. Behind him, I could see the VIP section's inhabitants watching with interest. Some I recognized from surveillance photos: Castellano associates, soldiers, the extended criminal family that ran everything from trafficking to political corruption. This was my mission. This was what 6 months of preparation had been building toward. And my handler was sitting beneath me, his heart hammering against my spine, silently begging me not to do what we both knew I had to. "I need to think," I whispered. "Of course." Marcus's smile was understanding, but his eyes held calculation. "Take all the time you need. I'll be at the bar when you decide. But Emma?" He leaned closer, his voice dropping so only Dante and I could hear. "Whatever relationship you have with this man, ask yourself, is he protecting you, or is he protecting himself?" The question landed like a knife between my ribs. Marcus straightened, nodded once to Dante with cool dismissal, and walked away. His security followed, leaving us in a bubble of sudden privacy amid the chaos of the club. The moment we were alone, I slid off Dante's lap. My legs barely held me. "Riley." Dante's hand caught my wrist, his grip urgent. "You're not seriously considering. He's offering me exactly what we need," I hissed, keeping my voice low. "Access, trust, everything we've been working toward." "It's too fast. Too dangerous." Dante stood, positioning himself between me and where Marcus waited at the bar. "We extract you. Tonight. We'll find another way in." "There is no other way in." Frustration bled through my whisper. "You know that. The Castellanos are paranoid, isolated. This is the opportunity." "This is you walking into a lion's den without backup," Dante interrupted, his professional mask cracking. "Without surveillance, without an exit strategy. Riley, if he suspects anything, he won't. You don't know that." Dante's jaw clenched. "And I can't protect you in there." Something in his tone made me look up sharply. His expression was carefully controlled, but his eyes betrayed him. Fear, yes, but something else. Something that had nothing to do with the mission, and everything to do with the way he'd held me on his lap. The way he'd whispered, "I won't let him hurt you," like it was a personal vow instead of professional protocol. "Dante, Agent Morgan." He corrected himself sharply, re-establishing boundaries. The tactical team is advising extraction. We can't protect an asset in a private residence without... I'm going. The words came out before I'd fully decided, but once spoken, I knew they were true. This was why I'd joined the FBI. Why I'd spent months becoming Emma Pierce. Why I'd sacrificed everything normal about my life. Dante's expression shuddered. Then you're on your own. He turned and walked away, disappearing into the crowd before I could respond. My earpiece went dead, officially cut off from support. I stood alone in the VIP section, watching Marcus Castellano at the bar. He was waiting, patient and dangerous, offering sanctuary that felt like a trap. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. The car is waiting outside whenever you're ready. No pressure. I looked toward the exit where Dante had vanished. Then back at Marcus, who raised his glass in a small salute, acknowledging my attention. 6 months of work. One impossible choice. I walked toward the bar on shaking legs. Marcus turned as I approached, something like approval in his eyes. You decided. I need help, I said, letting Emma Pierce's vulnerability show. And I don't know who else to ask. He set down his glass and offered his arm. Then let's get you somewhere safe. As he led me toward the private exit, his hand warm and steady on my elbow, I caught one last glimpse of Dante in the crowd. He was watching me leave with the mark, his expression unreadable. I'd just crossed a line I couldn't uncross. The car was a black Mercedes with windows tinted so dark I couldn't see inside. Marcus opened the door himself, waiting for me to make the final decision. Last chance to change your mind, he said quietly. I thought about Ryan's violence, about Dante's fear, about the mission that had consumed my life. I thought about the woman I was pretending to be and the agent I actually was. Then I slid into the back seat. Marcus settled beside me as the driver pulled away from the curb. The city lights blurred past the windows as we drove deeper into territory I'd only surveyed from a distance. The Castellano family's domain. You made the right choice, Marcus said, his voice gentle in the darkness. I'd made a choice. Whether it was right remained to be seen. The car turned onto a private road, and through the windshield, I saw it. A compound surrounded by high walls and security cameras, lit up like a fortress against the night sky. Marcus's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, frowned, then looked at me with an expression I couldn't quite read. Emma, he said slowly, before we go inside, I need to ask you something. My heart stopped. That man at the club, the one whose lap you were sitting on. Marcus's eyes held mine in the dim light. You said you just met him, but he was wearing an earpiece. His hand moved to gently tilt my chin, his touch careful but unyielding. So I need you to tell me the truth. Who sent you? The gates closed behind us with a finality that made my stomach drop. Marcus's compound was a fortress, disguised as a modern mansion. All clean lines and bulletproof glass, surrounded by cameras and guards who moved with military precision. I was inside enemy territory, alone, cut off from my team. Everything I'd trained for, and nothing had prepared me for this moment. Welcome to my home, Marcus said as the car stopped. His hand was steady at my elbow as he helped me out, for however long you need it. A woman appeared in the doorway, late 50s, elegant, with silver-streaked dark hair and eyes that assessed me with sharp intelligence. Sophia Romano, Marcus introduced. She manages the household. Sophia, this is Emma Pierce. She'll be staying in the blue suite. Discretion, please. Sophia's expression softened slightly. Of course, Miss Pierce, if you'll follow me. Actually, Marcus interrupted. Give us a moment first, Sophia. When we were alone in the grand foyer, Marcus turned to face me fully. The gentle protector from the club had shifted into something more calculating, more dangerous. Before you settle in, We need to establish some ground rules, he said quietly. This house is secure, but security works both ways. You'll have freedom within these walls, but you don't leave without my knowledge. You don't contact anyone without my approval, and you don't lie to me. His dark eyes held mine. Can you agree to those terms? Every instinct screamed to refuse, to run, to find an exit. But Riley Morgan had disappeared the moment I'd stepped into his car. Only Emma Pierce remained, vulnerable, desperate, with nowhere else to go. I understand, I whispered. Something in his expression softened. I'm not trying to control you, Emma, but your ex found you at my club. That means he's either very determined or he has resources I need to understand. Until I know which, I need you where I can protect you. How long do you think I'll need to stay? Marcus considered the question carefully. A week. Maybe 2. Long enough for me to send a message that will actually be heard. He gestured toward the staircase. Come. I'll show you to your room myself. I followed him up the sweeping stairs, acutely aware of every camera, every security measure, every locked door. The compound was a surveillance goldmine, if I could just find a way to document it. The blue suite was at the end of a long hallway. Marcus opened the door to reveal a space that looked like a luxury hotel room. 4-poster bed, sitting area, private bathroom with marble fixtures. Sophia's already stocked the wardrobe with clothes in your size, Marcus said, watching my reaction. Toiletries in the bathroom. If you need anything else, just ask. I turned to face him, unable to hide my suspicion. How did you know my size? I didn't. Sophia is exceptionally good at her job. He moved to the window, drawing back heavy curtains to reveal the compound's courtyard below. These windows are bulletproof. The door locks from the inside. Your privacy is guaranteed. But Emma? He turned back, his expression serious. Don't try to leave without telling me. The security system is comprehensive. You mean I'm a prisoner? You're a guest under my protection, he corrected gently. There's a difference. Is there? Marcus crossed the space between us, stopping close enough that I had to tilt my head back to meet his eyes. I'm offering you safety. Real safety. Not the kind that disappears the moment you step outside. But that safety comes with limitations. Temporary ones. And if I want to leave? Then you leave. His answer surprised me. I'm not your ex-boyfriend, Emma. I don't keep women against their will. But I'd strongly advise against going back out there until we've dealt with your problem. The way he said dealt with sent a chill through me. I had no doubt what Marcus Castellanos' solutions looked like. Get some rest, Marcus said, moving toward the door. We'll talk more in the morning. If you need anything during the night, there's a phone by the bed. Dial 0 for Sophia. Marcus. I stopped him at the threshold. Why are you doing this? You don't know me. He paused, his hand on the doorframe. My mother spent 20 years afraid of my father. I watched what that fear did to her. His voice lowered. I swore I'd never let another woman live like that. Not if I could prevent it. Then he was gone, the door closing softly behind him. I stood alone in the elegant prison, my heart racing. I needed to contact Dante, needed to let the team know I was inside, needed to establish some kind of communication protocol. I pulled out my phone. Dead screen. I tried to power it on. Nothing. Completely disabled. Panic clawed at my throat. I checked my purse for the backup device we'd sewn into the lining. Gone. They'd searched my belongings without me even noticing. I was completely cut off. Moving carefully, I began searching the room for surveillance equipment. Camera in the smoke detector. Audio pickup in the lamp. Even the mirror looked suspicious. Marcus was watching. Of course he was. I moved to the bathroom, the only space that seemed clean. Locked the door and leaned against it, finally allowing myself to shake. 3 months of preparation. 1 impulsive decision. And now I was trapped inside a criminal's fortress with no backup, no communication, and a cover story held together by desperation and lies. A soft knock made me jump. "Miss Pierce?" Sophia's voice, gentle through the door. "I've brought you some tea. May I come in?" I opened the door to find her holding a tray with a delicate teapot and cup. But her eyes held a warning. "The tea will help you sleep," she said, setting it on the dresser. Then, lowering her voice, "Mr. Marcus is many things, but he keeps his word. If he says you're safe here, you are. But Miss Pierce?" She met my eyes directly. "Don't make him regret his generosity. He doesn't trust easily, and betrayal is something he never forgives." Before I could respond, she was gone. I stared at the tea, wondering what else Sophia had added to it besides leaves and hot water. My phone buzzed suddenly, impossibly, since it had been dead. A text from an unknown number lit up the screen. "We need to talk. Privately. The garden. 2 a.m. Come alone. D." Dante had found a way in, but below that message, another one appeared, this time from a different number. "I know about the garden meeting. If you go, we'll both know what you really are. Choose wisely, Emma. M." Marcus was testing me, and I had 4 hours to decide which man to betray. I stared at both messages until the screen went dark again, my reflection ghosting back at me in the black glass. 2 texts. 2 men. 1 impossible choice. If I met Dante, I'd maintain my lifeline to the FBI, but prove to Marcus I was exactly what he suspected. If I stayed in my room, I'd protect my cover, but lose any chance of backup or extraction. The tea Sophia had left grew cold on the dresser. I didn't touch it. At 1:45 a.m., I made my decision. I dressed in the darkest clothes from the wardrobe, black leggings and a navy sweater that probably cost more than my monthly rent. The compound was silent as I crept down the hallway, every shadow seeming to hide cameras and guards. The garden door was exactly where Sophia had mentioned during her brief tour. Unlocked. Either an oversight or an invitation. I slipped outside into the cool night air. The courtyard was beautiful. Manicured hedges, a fountain bubbling softly, wrought iron benches positioned under carefully pruned trees. Romantic, if you ignored the cameras tracking my every movement. "Riley." Dante's whisper came from the shadows near the far wall. He materialized from behind a marble statue, dressed in black tactical gear, his face tight with controlled fury. "What the hell were you thinking?" "I was thinking this is exactly the opportunity we needed," I hissed back, staying in the open where the cameras could see me. If Marcus was watching, and I had no doubt he was, I needed this to look like a chance encounter, not a planned meeting. "You're compromised. Cut off. We have no way to monitor..." "Then monitor this." I pulled out my phone, angling it so the camera on the terrace couldn't see the screen. "I need you to reactivate the backup device in my necklace, the one Marcus's people missed because it looks like costume jewelry." Dante's jaw clenched. "The range on that is 50 feet, maximum. We'd need someone inside the compound walls." "Then get someone inside." I kept my voice low, urgent. "Marcus trusts his household staff, Sophia, the groundskeeper, the guards who've been here for years. Someone can be bought. Or you could extract right now." Dante grabbed my wrist, his grip almost desperate. "Riley, you have no backup plan. If he discovers who you are, he already suspects." I pulled free, putting distance between us. "He knows about this meeting. He sent me a text warning me he'd be watching." Dante's expression shifted from anger to alarm. "Then why are you here?" "Because I need you to trust me to work this." I glanced toward the house, where lights glowed in what I'd learned was Marcus's study. "He's testing me, Dante. If I'd stayed in my room like a good little victim, I'd look weak. But coming out here, standing in full view of his cameras, not hiding, not sneaking. I met Dante's eyes. That's the move of someone with nothing to hide. Or someone with a death wish. But I could see Dante calculating, running through scenarios. What's your play? I'm going to walk back inside, knock on Marcus's study door, and tell him a man approached me in the garden claiming to be FBI. I straightened my shoulders. I'm going to ask Marcus what I should do about it. Dante's eyes widened. You're going to burn me? I'm going to burn Agent Cross and his clumsy surveillance operation, I corrected. Emma Pierce is terrified of federal agents. They mean questions, investigations, exposure. She'd run straight to her protector for help. And when Marcus asks for a description, I'll give him one that matches half the agents in our field office. I started backing toward the house. Reactivate the necklace device. Get someone inside these walls. And Dante? Stop trying to extract me. I'm exactly where I need to be. Riley, Agent Morgan is gone, I interrupted. Only Emma exists now. Remember that. I turned and walked back to the terrace door, my heart hammering but my steps steady. Behind me, I heard Dante curse softly before vanishing back into the shadows. The house was still silent as I climbed the stairs. But Marcus's study door was open now, light spilling into the hallway. He was waiting. I knocked softly on the doorframe. Marcus, are you awake? He appeared in the doorway, dressed in dark slacks and a half-buttoned shirt, looking like he hadn't slept at all. His eyes searched my face, looking for lies. I couldn't sleep, I said, letting my voice shake slightly. I went to the garden for air, and a man was there. He said... I wrapped my arms around myself. He said he was FBI, that I was in danger here, that you were dangerous. Marcus's expression remained carefully neutral. What did you tell him? Nothing. I ran back inside. I looked up at him, letting Emma Pierce's fear show. Marcus, if the FBI is watching your house, if they think I'm involved in something, my ex already ruined my life. I can't have federal agents digging into it too. For a long moment, Marcus said nothing. Then he reached out, his hand gentle on my shoulder, guiding me into his study. Come in. We need to talk. The door closed behind us with a soft click. Marcus moved to his desk, pressing a button on his phone. Security. We have a breach. Male, 6 feet, dark clothing, last seen in the South Garden. He ended the call and turned back to me. They won't find him. Whoever he was, he's already gone. But the perimeter will be reinforced. I'm sorry, I whispered. I brought this to your door. No. Marcus crossed to where I stood, his dark eyes searching mine. Someone is using you, Emma. The question is who? Your ex, the FBI, or both? My breath caught. What do you mean? Your ex finds you at my club, specifically. An FBI agent appears in my private garden the same night you arrive. He tilted his head, studying me. That's not coincidence. That's coordination. He thought Ryan and the FBI were working together. The assumption was so close to my real investigation it made my blood run cold. I don't understand, I said, because Emma wouldn't. Marcus's hand came up to cup my cheek, his touch surprisingly gentle. I think your ex has more powerful friends than you realized, and I think they're using you to get to me. His thumb brushed my cheekbone. Which means you're in more danger than either of us thought. What do? We find out exactly who's pulling the strings. His eyes hardened, and then we cut them. He released me, moving back to his desk. You'll stay close to me from now on. Not in the guest suite. Somewhere I can monitor personally. My wing of the house has better security. Alarm bells rang in my head. Marcus, I don't think... I'm not suggesting anything inappropriate, he interrupted. There's a bedroom adjacent to mine with its own entrance, but it shares a security system. If anyone tries to reach you again, I'll know immediately. He was moving me closer, tightening control under the guise of protection. Exactly what an undercover agent needed, and exactly what made me want to run. "Okay," I heard myself say. Marcus smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Get some rest. We'll move your things in the morning." He walked me to the door, his hand at the small of my back. "And Emma, if that agent contacts you again, tell me immediately." "I will." I walked back to the blue suite on shaking legs. Inside, I locked the door and leaned against it, trying to steady my breathing. I'd played it perfectly. Marcus believed my story. I'd protected Dante's real identity while maintaining my cover. So why did I feel like the walls were closing in? My phone buzzed. Another message from Marcus. "You did well tonight. Sleep now. Tomorrow we begin finding answers. M." And below it, one final text from Dante. "Necklace reactivated. We're listening. But Riley, be careful. You're in deeper than you realize." I touched the simple silver chain at my throat. Somewhere 50 feet away, a surveillance van was recording every word, every breath. I wasn't alone. But I'd never felt more isolated in my life. Morning came with Sophia knocking softly at my door. "Miss Pierce, Mr. Marcus would like you to join him for breakfast." I dressed quickly in jeans and a cream sweater from the wardrobe, my necklace transmitter hidden beneath the fabric. Somewhere outside these walls, Dante and the team were listening to every word. Marcus was waiting in a sun-filled breakfast room I hadn't seen before. He'd traded last night's half-dressed appearance for a crisp navy suit, looking every inch the legitimate businessman rather than the criminal I knew him to be. "Good morning," he said, standing as I entered. "I hope you slept well." "Well enough." I took the seat he offered, acutely aware of his proximity as he sat beside me rather than across the table. Sophia appeared with coffee and pastries, her expression carefully neutral. When she left, Marcus leaned back, studying me with that unsettling intensity. "I made some calls this morning," he said. "About your ex-boyfriend. Ryan Carter, correct?" My stomach dropped. "How did you—" "You mentioned his first name at the club. The rest was simple research." Marcus sipped his coffee. "He has gambling debts, significant ones, and interesting connections to law enforcement." I forced myself to look surprised rather than terrified. What kind of connections? The kind that make me wonder if last night's FBI agent was real or theater. His dark eyes held mine. "Either way, you're caught in something bigger than domestic violence, Emma. I don't understand." "I think you do." Marcus set down his cup. "I think you're smarter than you've been pretending to be. And I think that's why I'm going to offer you a choice." Every nerve in my body went on high alert. What choice? Stay here under my protection, but be honest with me about what's really happening. Or leave now, with enough money to disappear somewhere your ex will never find you. He paused. "But if you stay and I discover you've lied about anything significant, the consequences will be severe." It was a trap disguised as generosity. If I left, I'd lose the mission. If I stayed, I was one mistake away from exposure. "I want to stay," I said quietly. "And I've told you the truth. Everything I know." Something flickered in Marcus's expression. Disappointment, maybe, or resignation. "All right, then let's move you to the secure wing." The bedroom adjacent to his was smaller but more intimate than the blue suite. A queen bed with charcoal linens, a sitting area with a view of the gardens, and a door that connected directly to Marcus's private space. "The door locks from both sides," Marcus explained, gesturing to the shared entrance. "Your privacy is guaranteed, but if there's an emergency, I'm seconds away." "Thank you." I set down the small bag Sophia had packed with my borrowed belongings. Marcus moved to the window, his back to me. "I had a sister once. Younger. She got involved with the wrong man. Someone who used her to get information about my family." His voice was low, controlled. By the time I realized what was happening, she was dead. Suicide, officially. But I knew better. The confession hung in the air, heavy with grief and warning. "I'm sorry," I whispered. He turned, his expression unreadable. "I'm telling you this so you understand. I protect what's mine, Emma." Fiercely. But betrayal is something I will never forgive. Before I could respond, his phone rang. He glanced at the screen, his jaw tightening. "I need to take this. Make yourself comfortable. Sophia will bring lunch." He disappeared through the connecting door, and I heard the lock click behind him. I was alone in a room that felt less like sanctuary and more like a beautiful cell. I touched my necklace, knowing Dante had heard everything. Hours passed. I explored the room. No cameras here, surprisingly. Marcus's one concession to my privacy. But the windows were bulletproof, the door to the hallway locked from outside, and the only exit led directly through Marcus's bedroom. Near dusk, voices drifted through the connecting door. Male voices, tense and speaking rapid Italian. I pressed my ear against the wood, catching fragments. "Shipment delayed. Chicago operation. Eliminate the problem." My heart raced. This was it. Evidence of active criminal operations. The kind of intelligence that could dismantle the Castellano organization. The transmitter in my necklace was recording everything. The voices grew louder, arguing now. Then a sound that made my blood freeze. A gunshot, muffled but unmistakable. Silence. The connecting door suddenly opened. Marcus stood there, his shirt spattered with blood that wasn't his, a gun held loosely at his side. His eyes met mine, and I saw the exact moment he registered what I'd heard. "Emma," he said softly, dangerously. "We need to talk about what just happened." I stepped back instinctively, my hands rising in a defensive posture I'd learned in academy training. Then I remembered. Emma Pierce wouldn't know defensive tactics. Emma Pierce would simply be terrified. I let my hands drop, my breathing shallow and quick. Marcus set the gun on his dresser, the movement deliberate and non-threatening. "I need you to stay calm." "Is someone dead?" My voice came out strangled. "Yes." He didn't lie, didn't soften it. "A man who was a threat to this family, to you by extension." Oh God. I sank onto the edge of the bed, letting shock show on my face. "Marcus, you can't just..." "I can." He moved to his bathroom, washing blood from his hands with methodical efficiency. And I did. That's the world you walked into when you accepted my protection, Emma. Through the transmitter, Dante and the team were hearing everything. A confession to murder. Exactly the kind of evidence we needed. But all I felt was the weight of a dead man's blood, and my role in putting Marcus in this room, in this moment, speaking these words that would condemn him. Marcus emerged, drying his hands on a towel, his expression unreadable. "You're thinking about running." "I'm thinking I might be next." The words came out before I could stop them. Something flashed in his eyes. Hurt, maybe, or anger. He crossed the space between us, kneeling in front of me so we were eye level. "Look at me." I forced myself to meet his gaze. "That man came here to kill me," Marcus said quietly. "He was sent by a rival organization that's been testing our defenses for months. If I'd let him leave, he would have returned with others. More blood would have been spilled. My people's blood. Possibly yours." "How is that possibly mine?" "Because you're here, under my roof. That makes you a target." His hand came up to rest on my knee, steady and warm. "I will do whatever is necessary to keep you safe, Emma. Even things that horrify you." I wanted to pull away. Wanted to scream that I wasn't Emma. That I was the threat inside his walls. That everything he was protecting was an illusion. Instead, I whispered, "I don't know if I can live like this." "Then leave." Marcus stood, putting distance between us. I meant what I said this morning. You're free to go. I'll have Sophia pack your things. I'll arrange transportation and money. You can disappear. It was the second time he'd offered me an exit. The smart play was to take it, extract with the murder confession recorded, regroup with the team, build the case from outside. But walking away now meant losing months more of intelligence, meant another agent would eventually have to get this close, risk this much. I don't want to leave, I heard myself say. Marcus turned, surprise flickering across his features. Even after what you just witnessed. You said he was here to kill you, that he was dangerous. I stood, moving closer despite every instinct screaming to run. I've spent 3 months running from danger, Marcus. Maybe it's time I stood behind someone strong enough to face it. The words were Emma's rationalization, but somewhere deeper, Riley Morgan was horrified by how easily they came. Marcus studied me for a long moment. Then he reached out, his fingers brushing my cheek with unexpected gentleness. You're either very brave or very foolish. Maybe both. His thumb traced my jawline. If you stay, Emma, you need to understand something. The world I live in doesn't have clean lines between right and wrong. I do terrible things to protect what's mine. I won't apologize for that. I'm not asking you to. But I need your word that what happens in this house stays in this house. His dark eyes held mine. Can you promise me that? Every word was being recorded. Every promise I made would be evidence of my complicity, my cover going deeper than any agent should go. I promise, I whispered. Marcus's hand slid to the back of my neck, pulling me closer. For one breathless moment, I thought he would kiss me. Instead, his forehead pressed against mine, intimate and unexpected. Thank you for trusting me, he said quietly. The guilt was overwhelming. A knock at the door broke the moment. Sophia's voice. Mr. Marcus, your father is calling. He says it's urgent. Marcus released me, his expression shifting back to business. I need to take this. Stay here. Don't answer the door for anyone but Sophia. He disappeared through the connecting door, locking it behind him. I sank onto the bed, my entire body shaking. I'd just witnessed a murder confession, promised to keep criminal secrets, and stood close enough to Marcus Castellano to feel his heartbeat. The line between Riley Morgan and Emma Pierce was blurring dangerously. My necklace felt heavy against my throat. Somewhere outside these walls, Dante had heard everything. The confession, the promise, the moment of intimacy that had nothing to do with the mission. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number I recognized as Dante's backup device. Good work. Murder confession recorded. Prepare for extraction within 48 hours. You've done enough. I stared at the message until it disappeared. 48 hours. 2 days until I betrayed the man who'd just promised to protect me with his life. I didn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw blood on Marcus's hands, heard the muffled gunshot, felt the weight of my promise to stay silent. At dawn, Sophia brought breakfast to my room. Mr. Marcus had to leave early, business in the city. He'll return this evening. The moment she left, I checked my phone. 3 messages from Dante. Team is in position for extraction. Wednesday night. 11 p.m. Target's father arriving tomorrow. Opportunity for additional intelligence. Riley, you're doing great. Almost over. Almost over. 40 hours until I walked away from Marcus Castellano and everything collapsed around him. I should have felt relief. Instead, I felt sick. I spent the day exploring the compound's security, memorizing guard rotations, camera positions, potential exit routes. Everything a good agent should do. But my heart wasn't in it. Marcus returned at sunset. I heard his voice in the hallway, speaking Italian with someone. His father, based on the tone. Respectful, but tense. An hour later, he knocked on the connecting door. "Emma, may I come in?" "Yes." He entered looking exhausted, his tie loosened, his jacket discarded somewhere. Without the armor of his suit, he seemed younger, more vulnerable. "How was your day?" he asked, settling into the chair by the window. "Quiet. Sophia took good care of me." I sat on the edge of the bed, maintaining careful distance. "Is everything all right?" "My father arrived unexpectedly. He wants to meet you." My stomach dropped. "Why?" "Because you're living in my private wing." Marcus's lips curved slightly. In his world, that means something significant. What does it mean in your world? His expression grew serious. "That I trust you enough to let you see who I really am. Not the businessman or the heir. Just me." The confession felt dangerous, intimate in ways that had nothing to do with the mission. "Marcus, I struggled for words. I'm not looking for anything complicated. I just need safety until..." "I know." He stood, moving to the window. "But I haven't been able to stop thinking about you since that night at the club. The way you chose me without knowing who I was. The way you looked at me yesterday, terrified, but refusing to run." He turned. "You see the monster, Emma, and you're still here. You're not a monster. I killed a man 20 feet from where you were standing." His voice was cold, factual. "What would you call that?" "Protection." The word came out before I could stop it. "You protected your family, your people. That's what you do." Something shifted in his expression. Surprise, maybe gratitude. He crossed the room, stopping close enough that I could feel the heat radiating from his body. "Why aren't you afraid of me?" he asked quietly. "Because I'm FBI. Because I've been trained to handle dangerous men. Because Riley Morgan doesn't exist anymore, and Emma Pierce is just another lie. Because you've never given me a reason to be," I said instead. Marcus's hand came up to cup my face, his thumb brushing my cheekbone. "I could give you 1,000 reasons. But you won't. No." His voice dropped lower. "I won't." The distance between us evaporated. His lips met mine in a kiss that was nothing like I'd imagined. Not aggressive or claiming, but questioning, asking permission with every touch. I should have pulled away. Should have remembered the wire, the mission, the 40 hours until extraction. Instead, I kissed him back. His arms wrapped around me, pulling me closer as the kiss deepened. I felt his heart racing against my chest, felt the tension in his muscles, the barely controlled need he'd been restraining since the night we met. When we finally broke apart, both breathless, his forehead rested against mine. "Emma," he whispered, "tell me to stop." I should have. God, I should have. "Don't stop." He lifted me easily, carrying me to his bedroom through the connecting door. The space was masculine and intimate. Dark wood, understated luxury, a massive bed that dominated the room. Marcus set me down gently, his hands framing my face. "Are you sure?" No, nothing about this was sure. But Emma Pierce nodded, and Riley Morgan went silent. What happened next was supposed to be part of the cover, part of getting close to the target. But as Marcus undressed me with careful reverence, as his hands mapped every inch of my skin, as we came together in the darkness, it felt nothing like work. It felt like falling. Afterward, I lay in his arms, his heartbeat steady beneath my ear. The necklace transmitter pressed against my throat, recording everything. "Emma?" Marcus's voice was quiet in the darkness. "Yes?" "Thank you for trusting me." The guilt was suffocating, In 40 hours, federal agents would storm this compound. Marcus would be arrested, and everything he'd shared, everything he'd given me, would be used to destroy him. "Marcus," I whispered, "if I told you something that changed everything, would you forgive me?" His arms tightened around me. "That depends on what it is." I couldn't do it. Couldn't confess with the wire recording, with Dante listening, with everything on the line. "Never mind," I said softly. But Marcus didn't let it go. He shifted, tilting my face up to meet his eyes. "Emma, whatever you're afraid to tell me, I promise you, I've heard worse." My phone buzzed on the nightstand. A text from Dante. "What the hell are you doing? Extraction is in 38 hours. Get out of his bed now." Marcus glanced at the screen, his expression darkening. "Who's texting you at midnight?" I grabbed the phone, deleting the message. "No one. Wrong number." But Marcus's hand caught my wrist, firm but not painful. "Show me. It's nothing. Show me." The moment stretched impossibly long. Then his bedroom door burst open. 3 FBI agents in tactical gear flooded the room, weapons drawn. And Dante stood in the doorway, his expression twisted with something between rage and heartbreak. "Riley Morgan," he said formally. "Step away from the target." Marcus's entire body went rigid. He looked at me, understanding dawning in his eyes, betrayal, fury, and something that looked like devastation. "Riley?" he repeated, my real name foreign on his lips. I couldn't speak, couldn't move. "Agent Morgan," Dante commanded. "Now." Marcus released me slowly, his expression shuddering into something cold and unreachable. "You're FBI," he said quietly. Not a question. I pulled the sheet around myself, my entire world collapsing. "Marcus, everything was a lie." His voice was flat, emotionless. "The ex-boyfriend, the fear. This." He gestured between us. "Not everything," I whispered. His laugh was bitter, broken. "Get out." The extraction wasn't supposed to happen yet. Something had gone catastrophically wrong. And I'd just lost everything. I dressed in silence while 3 FBI agents secured Marcus with zip ties. He didn't resist, didn't speak, just watched me with eyes that had gone completely cold. Dante wrapped a jacket around my shoulders. "We need to move. Now." "Why?" I found my voice. "Extraction wasn't scheduled for..." "Your ex made contact with Marcus's father. Threatened to expose you if the old man didn't pay him off." Dante's jaw was tight. "We had to pull you before your cover got you killed." "Ryan." Everything traced back to Ryan. I looked at Marcus one last time. He stared at the floor, refusing to meet my eyes. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "Save it for your report, Agent Morgan." His voice was ice. They let him out in handcuffs. I followed on shaking legs, past Sophia, who stood in the hallway with tears streaming down her face, past guards being detained, through the compound I'd called home for 3 impossible days. The FBI tactical van waited outside the gates. Dante pushed me inside, slamming the door behind us. "What the hell were you thinking?" His control finally snapped. "Sleeping with the target? That's not deep cover, Riley. That's career suicide." I was maintaining my cover. "Bullshit." Dante got in my face. "I heard everything through that wire. That wasn't an agent doing her job. That was you forgetting who you are." He was right. God help me, he was right. "Where are they taking him?" I asked quietly. "Federal holding. He'll be arraigned tomorrow." Dante's expression softened slightly. "You did good work, Riley. The murder confession alone is enough to..." "I want to see him." "Absolutely not." "Dante, please." I grabbed his arm. "I need to explain..." "Explain what? That you used him? That every moment was a lie?" Dante pulled free. He knows exactly what you are now. Let it go. But I couldn't let it go, because somewhere between the fake relationship and the real feelings, I'd stopped being Agent Riley Morgan and become someone I didn't recognize. Back at FBI headquarters, I was debriefed for 6 hours straight. Supervisors, attorneys, internal affairs. Everyone wanted their piece of the story. Did the target ever threaten you? No. Did he coerce you into sexual contact? No. Agent Morgan, I need you to be very clear. Was your relationship with Marcus Castellano consensual? The question hung in the sterile conference room. Yes, I said finally. It was consensual. The attorney made a note. That single word would complicate the prosecution, make me look compromised. But I wouldn't lie about that. Not about the one real thing in all the pretending. They released me near midnight with orders to return tomorrow for more questioning. I went home to an apartment I barely remembered, surrounded by the ghost of Riley Morgan's old life. My phone rang at 2 a.m. Unknown number. Hello? Agent Morgan. The voice was unfamiliar, male, with a faint Italian accent. My name is Dominic Castellano, Marcus's father. My blood ran cold. How did you get this number? I have resources you can't imagine. His voice was pleasant, conversational. I'm calling to discuss my son's situation. I can't talk to you without... You're going to testify against him. I understand that. It's your job. A pause. But I'm offering you a choice, Agent Morgan. Drop the charges. Convince your superiors Marcus is more valuable as an informant than a prisoner, and I'll give you something in return. I don't make deals with criminals. Not even to save your ex-boyfriend's life? My heart stopped. What? Ryan Carter, currently in a very precarious situation. My people found him before your FBI colleagues did. He's been telling interesting stories about his relationship with you. Dominic's tone hardened. Cooperate, or he disappears. Permanently. You're threatening to kill him if I don't help Marcus? I'm offering to spare him if you do. The line went dead. I sat in the darkness, my mind racing. Ryan was awful, abusive, the reason I'd needed the undercover assignment in the first place, but he didn't deserve to die. And Marcus didn't deserve prison for protecting me, for trusting me, for giving me everything I'd asked for. My phone buzzed. A text from another unknown number. Riley, it's me. Don't do what my father asks. Don't compromise yourself more than you already have. Let me take responsibility for my choices. M. Below it, a second message. But know this, what happened between us wasn't a lie. Not for me. I hope it wasn't for you either. I stared at both messages until they blurred. Then I made a decision that would destroy my career. I called Dante. I need to make a deal, I said when he answered. Marcus Castellano in exchange for information about his father's organization. Complete cooperation, witness protection, immunity. Riley, what are you? His father just threatened to kill Ryan unless I sabotage the case. If we don't move fast, we'll have another body and no case at all. Silence. Then, I'll make some calls. And I hung up and texted Marcus back. Don't give up yet. I'm going to fix this. R. The reply came immediately. Why would you help me after everything? I typed and deleted a dozen responses. Finally settled on the truth. Because you were right. Not everything was a lie. Outside my window, dawn was breaking over the city. In 6 hours, I'd walk into FBI headquarters and propose the most insane deal of my career, and pray that Marcus Castellano would accept salvation from the woman who'd betrayed him. The FBI conference room was packed. My supervisor, 2 assistant district attorneys, Dante, and a half-dozen agents I'd never met, all staring at me like I'd lost my mind. Let me get this straight, Supervisor Chen said slowly. You want us to offer Marcus Castellano full immunity in exchange for testimony against his father. And witness protection, I added. New identity, relocation, the complete package. Agent Morgan, you slept with this man. The lead attorney's voice was sharp. Your judgment is compromised. My judgment is the only reason we have this opportunity. I stood my ground. Marcus trusted me because I got close. That same trust means he'll cooperate if we offer the right deal. Or he'll lie to protect his family, Dante interjected. Criminals don't just flip on their fathers. This one will. I pulled out my phone, playing the recording I'd made of Dominic's threat. His father is threatening civilian lives to manipulate federal investigations. Marcus has a code. He won't protect that. The room fell silent as they listened. That's a direct threat against a federal agent's CI, Chen said finally, and against Agent Morgan herself by implication. Which is why we need to move fast, I pressed. Offer Marcus the deal before his father makes good on the threat. We get testimony that dismantles the entire Castellano organization, save Ryan's life, and Marcus gets a second chance. The attorneys exchanged glances. We'd need significant intelligence to justify immunity for murder. He'll give it to you. Locations, operations, financial records, names. I met Chen's eyes. I know him. He's been looking for a way out of his father's shadow since his mother died. This is it. And you think he'll trust you to deliver this deal? Dante's voice was cold. After you betrayed him? The question hit like a physical blow. No, I admitted quietly. But he might trust that I'm trying to make things right. After 2 hours of debate, Chen made the call. Set up the meeting. But Agent Morgan, you're off this case officially. Your testimony is already complicated enough without... She needs to be there, the lead attorney interrupted. Castellano won't talk to anyone else. We all know it. Chen's jaw tightened. Fine. But this is your last interaction with him, Morgan. After today, you're done. They brought Marcus to a secure interview room at noon. He looked exhausted, his suit replaced with federal holding orange, his wrists cuffed to the table. When I walked in with the attorneys, his expression didn't change. Mr. Castellano, the lead attorney began. We're here to discuss a potential arrangement. I want to speak with Agent Morgan, alone. That's not alone, or I don't say another word. The attorneys looked at me. I nodded. They left reluctantly, leaving us in tense silence. The observation window was one way, but I knew Dante and the team were watching, listening. You shouldn't have come, Marcus said finally. I had to. I sat across from him, keeping the table between us. Your father threatened Ryan. Threatened to kill him if I didn't sabotage your case. Something flickered in his eyes. And you told the FBI instead of helping me. How noble. I told them so I could help you the right way. I leaned forward. Marcus, they're offering immunity. Full witness protection. New life, new identity. You testify against your father's organization, and you walk away free. He laughed bitterly. You want me to betray my family. I want you to save yourself. From what? The life I was born into? His eyes were hard. Or from you? The accusation stung. From both, maybe. Marcus studied me for a long moment. Why, Riley? Why do this after everything? Because you were right. Not everything was a lie. I met his gaze steadily. What happened between us? What I felt? That was real. And I can't let you go to prison for the rest of your life knowing I could have offered you another option. An option that requires me to destroy my father. An option that lets you build something different. Something better than what he built. I paused. You told me once your mother spent 20 years afraid. That you swore you'd never let another woman suffer like that. This is how you keep that promise, Marcus. By making sure your father can't hurt anyone else. His jaw clenched. And if I refuse? Then you go to trial for murder, and your father continues operating while you're in prison. I leaned back. He's already threatening civilians, Marcus. How long before someone else dies because you stayed silent? The silence stretched impossibly long. What about you? Marcus asked quietly. What happens to Agent Riley Morgan after this? I'll testify. Face internal review for getting too close to a target. Probably lose my badge. I shrugged. But at least you'll be alive and free. You'd sacrifice your career for mine? I'd sacrifice my career because it's the right thing to do. Marcus closed his eyes. When he opened them again, something had shifted. I want 3 things in writing. Witness protection for Sofia Romano. She's innocent in all this. Ryan Carter's safety guaranteed. And I want to know if what you felt was real. Not the mission, not the cover. What Riley Morgan felt when she was in my bed. His voice dropped. I need to know if any of it mattered. The observation window felt like a spotlight. Dante was watching. The attorneys, my supervisor, everyone hearing this. It mattered, I whispered. It still matters. Marcus's expression cracked slightly. Then I'll take the deal. Relief flooded through me. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. He leaned forward as much as his restraints allowed. Because when this is over, when I have my new life and you have whatever's left of yours, I'm going to find you, Riley Morgan, and we're going to finish this conversation properly. It was a promise and a threat wrapped together. The door opened. The attorneys returned with paperwork. As they uncuffed Marcus to sign the immunity agreement, his eyes never left mine. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. You've made a terrible mistake, Agent Morgan. My son's testimony won't save you. Nothing will. D. Castellano. Below it, a photo that made my blood freeze. Ryan, bound and gagged, in what looked like a warehouse. The timestamp, 4 minutes ago. I looked up at Marcus. We have a problem. I showed Marcus the photo. His expression went cold, calculating. The crime lord I'd first met, not the vulnerable man I'd come to know. That's my father's warehouse, South District. He looked at the attorneys. You want my cooperation? Get a tactical team there now, or Ryan Carter dies in the next hour. Chen didn't hesitate. Coordinate with SWAT. Move. The next 30 minutes were chaos. Marcus provided building layouts, security details, guard rotations, everything the FBI needed for a clean extraction. He'd memorized his father's entire operation, waiting for the right moment to use it. That moment was now. I rode with the tactical team, wearing a vest that felt too tight, my service weapon heavy at my side. Dante tried to stop me at the van. You're too close to this, Riley. Let us handle. That's my ex-boyfriend in there because of me. I pushed past him. I'm going. The warehouse was abandoned, exactly as Marcus described. SWAT breached simultaneously from 3 entrances. I followed the primary team, adrenaline drowning out fear. We found Ryan in the basement, alive but terrified. 2 of Dominic's men were securing the perimeter. They surrendered without resistance when they saw the tactical team's numbers. Riley? Ryan's voice was hoarse when they removed his gag. What the hell is happening? You're safe now. I helped cut his restraints. FBI is taking you into protective custody. Because of him? That mobster you... Because you made yourself a target, I interrupted coldly. But it's over now. Paramedics took Ryan away. I stood in the warehouse, shaking with relief and exhaustion. Dante approached quietly. Good call. We recovered evidence here too. Documents linking Dominic to 6 federal crimes. Where is he? In custody, arrested an hour ago trying to flee the country. Dante's expression softened. You did it, Riley. The whole organization is coming down. But I felt hollow. At what cost? Your career, probably. He didn't sugarcoat it. Internal Affairs is recommending suspension pending full review. The relationship with Castellano crossed too many lines. I nodded. I'd known this was coming. Was it worth it? Dante asked. I thought about Marcus's hands on my face, his whispered confessions, the way he'd looked at me before learning the truth. Yeah, I said quietly. It was. 3 months later, the disciplinary hearing ended with my resignation accepted. No charges filed, but my FBI career was over. I'd traded my badge for Marcus's freedom, and I didn't regret it. Marcus had disappeared into witness protection after his testimony helped convict his father and dismantle the Castellano organization. Sophia got her new life too, somewhere safe. I'd started teaching criminal justice at a community college. Quiet work, normal work. I didn't expect to ever see Marcus again. Then one Saturday morning, someone knocked on my apartment door. He looked different. Shorter hair, casual clothes, no expensive suit. But those dark eyes were unmistakable. Riley, my real name, said with warmth instead of betrayal. Marcus? How did you... I told my handler I needed closure before fully disappearing. He stepped closer. I needed to see you one more time. You shouldn't be here. If anyone sees, let them see. He cupped my face gently. I spent 3 months in a safe house thinking about you, about us, about what was real and what wasn't. Marcus, let me finish. His thumb brushed my cheek. You lied to me. Used me. Broke my trust in ways I didn't think possible. He paused. But you also saved my life, gave me a second chance, and somewhere in all those lies, you showed me what it felt like to be chosen. Really chosen. Tears pricked my eyes. I'm so sorry. I know. He leaned his forehead against mine. I forgive you. The words broke something open in my chest. I love you, Riley Morgan, Marcus whispered. The real you. Not Emma, not the cover identity. You. And I'm asking, will you give us a real chance? No lies, no missions. Just 2 people trying to build something honest. Your witness protection can include a spouse. His lips curved slightly. If you're willing to disappear with me. I pulled back to search his face. You're asking me to give up everything. I'm asking you to start over. With me. His voice was steady, certain. New names, new city, new life. But this time we build it together. Honestly. Outside my window, the city bustled with people living their ordinary lives. Inside, Marcus Castellano, or whatever his new name was, offered me something extraordinary. A second chance. A real chance. Yes, I whispered. Yes, I'll come with you. He kissed me then, and it tasted like forgiveness, like hope, like the beginning of something true. 6 months later, in a small coastal town where no one knew our real names, we got married. Just us, a judge, and the truth we'd finally stopped running from. I'd sat on an FBI agent's lap to save my cover. I'd fallen for my target. I'd lost my badge, my identity, everything I'd worked for. And somehow, I'd found exactly where I belonged. In the arms of the man who'd said, I won't let him hurt you, and meant it, even when the person I needed protection from was myself.